Hi, my name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Genie. Today we're going to learn how to play the plant puzzle game, Power Plants. This 1 to 5 player game designed by Adam E. Dalton and published by Kids Table Board Games. In this game you are a wizard, and unfortunately, in order to make all your potions and spells and everything, all the magical ingredients has dried out through a terrible drought, and there's only one patch of fertile land left in the whole kingdom. Unfortunately, because it is the only one, means that other wizards will also try to take over that little patch of land as well. Will you be able to get along and share it, or will unfortunately all your opponent's sprites take over that patch and build a better garden? Find out as we go to the table and learn how to play Power Plants. Decide which 5 plants you want to play with, or randomly draw 5 plant cards. For this game, these are the recommended ones that we suggest you use. So the deep root, the honey leaf, the tangle thorn, emberwood, and star flower. Place the plant cards matching your chosen plants on the table in a card column by timing category. So morning should be first, then noon, and then night. Since this is an example that we want to use for beginners, there will be no night. It's just going to be morning and noon. The order of the cards within each timing category should be random. Take the correct 5 sets of patch tiles, matching the plant cards in the column from the box. With 2 players, return both 7 and 8 tiles back to the box, and this has an 8 on it. This one has a 7. As they will not be used because we are going to be doing a 2-player game. If it is 3 players, just return patch 8 to the box. So we're not using that, so we shall return these back to the box. Assemble the 5 patch formation like so by taking the 5 highest numbered patches remaining. So because we removed 7 and 8, 6 is the only one that's remaining. The formation doesn't matter. Leave spaces around the edges for the garden to grow. Place the rest of the patches in the bag. And mix it well. Draw 3 patches from the bag and form an area called the nursery. So we'll place them right here for now. This is the nursery, and we'll move this up a bit. It needs to be near your card column. There we go, so we can space it out a bit. When you are playing a 5-player game, draw 2 extra patches for the nursery for a total of 5. Then you make a supply of gems. So we have the 2 and the 1s, and we'll place those off camera because they will not be playing into effect that much in this. Then take 20 sprites of your color and a reference sheet. If you want, choose the starting player randomly and then give them the wizard pawn. Beginning with the starting player and proceeding clockwise, each player draws a hand of 2 patches, and those will be off camera. Your hand is public information, so you don't need to keep that a secret. If you draw 2 patches of the same type, what you can do is you can actually pick a patch from your nursery and exchange it for a patch in your hand with the one from the nursery. You can have more than one type there, but it's kind of limiting your your strategy if you can only have one type at a time in your hand. And that completes the setup. You're now ready to begin. Take turns beginning with the starting player and going clockwise around the table. The game will end as soon as the tile bag is completely empty. Then you can begin end of game scoring, but we'll talk about that later. First, you do your turn within 3 simple steps. The first one is add a patch. You pick one of the 2 patches from your hand, place your red wizard token on it. Oh, we're going to pick the honey leaf. And we're going to slide it into the garden. On any edge space is where you can enter. Most plants allow you to add a free sprite. Check the plant's card to see if it has a free sprite. If it is green, then that means yes, you do get a free sprite. But if it's red, unfortunately that means you do not get a free sprite. The honey leaf has a red symbol on it, which means that we do not get a free sprite on it. Next, you will need to make a very important choice: to sprout or to grow. If you choose to sprout, you will activate only the sprout power on the wizard's patch. If you choose to grow, you will activate the grow power of every patch around the wizard's patch. So these 2 right here, as long as it's touching. Activate each growing power 1 time. When you grow more than 1 patch, they activate in card column order. So we do the honey leaf first. Well, we do the Tanglethorn first, then we do the honey leaf, because Tanglethorn is above the honey leaf. Goes from top to bottom. If you're growing patches that include more than 1 patch of the same type, the order of those patches activate when it is their type's turn, and that one's all up to you. So if you go Starflower, Emberwood, Tanglethorn, we have 2 honey leaves, so I have to choose whether I want to do the honey leaf now, do the first honey leaf now, or the second honey leaf. But it would just be this honey leaf. So technically, I'm good. But if we had more, whether sprouting or growing, you may choose to not activate the power of any patch that would be entitled to it. Once you are done, you take the wizard and you pass him to the next player to your left, going clockwise, and draw a random patch from the bag, following the same rules if you get duplicates or anything. If you draw a patch of the same type as the one in your hand, you may swap it from the nursery, and we showed you how to do that. Okay, so this is super important. A patch may never have more than 1 sprite on it at once. When you are supposed to add a sprite to a patch that has a rival sprite on it, you expel the rival sprite instead of adding your own sprite to that instead. When your sprite is moving to a patch that has a rival sprite on it, your sprite plus the rival sprite are both expelled. Your added sprite comes from your supply. Your expelled sprites return to your supply. There is no limit to the number of your sprites that can be on 1 patch. If you must add a sprite and there are none in your supply, you must retrieve one of your sprites from a patch of your choice and put it in your supply and use it. When adding a patch, you must be able to slide it into the plot, like so, without passing through a narrow gap. If you jostle some patches during a legal placement, adjust as needed. So it's okay if you need to make a couple adjustments, you just can't like go and then place your patch in and then move these back. When a power adds a gem to the garden, they come from the general supply, not from your stash. So the sprout power of the Emberwood, you can add 1 sprite and 5 gems to 1 patch. So you can add 1 sprite, 5 gems to 1 patch, or if you use the grow power, you can add 2 gems to 1 patch next to the growing Emberwood. Okay, 2 gems. There we go, like that. When the last patch is drawn from the bag, the player drawing it must announce it. Then each player gets 1 final turn. Each player will end the game holding 1 unplayed patch. If any of your sprites are expelled after you've taken your final turn of the game, you gain 2 gems for each expelled sprite. After all final turns are done, the game is over and you go to scoring. You can track your score using gems. Each gem equals 1 point. You must have earned gems during the game. These are included in your score depending on the plants in play. This could range from 0 to quite a lot. Some plant cards indicate some sort of end game scoring, but we don't have any of these since this is a beginner game. But for example, I'll pull one up. So these star flowers have an end game point. It can be told by this little pink bar down there. And what it is before field scoring, each shy flower earns points for its owner equal to the number of patches on the shortest route between itself and the nearest other shy flower. Claim the gems from each patch where you have any sprites. Return any gems to any patch that doesn't have any sprites. Score each field. A field is a connective group of 1 or more patches. So this is a field, this is a field, this is a field, this is a field, and this is a field. A field is worth points based on its size. The size is the number of patches it has. So for example, this field has 4 patches, which means it would earn me, because I have the most, it would earn me 7 points. This field has 6, so that would earn me 11 points. Each field offers a first place and a second place score. You win first place if you control the most patches in the field, and second place if you control the second most patches. If you control at least 1 patch in a field and score neither first nor second place, you score 1 point for that field. The number of sprites you have in a field doesn't matter, only the number of patches you control. If there is ever a tie for control of a field, the tie is broken in favor of the tied player who controls the lowest numbered patch between them in the field. Once scoring is complete, the player with the most gems wins the game. In the event of a tie, the tie is broken in favor of the player with more sprites in the garden. If there's still a tie, the tied players share the victory, but they keep a suspicious eye on each other for the next game. And that's all you need to know to play Power Plants. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get to them as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for videos just like this. And if you're a fan of the channel as a whole, consider becoming a Patreon supporter on our Patreon page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below so you can check it out. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. I'd like to thank our current Patreon supporters. Your donations mean a lot to this channel and helps us do what we do. If you are watching this on the Patreon page, thank you very much. And feel free to check out some of our other how to play videos on here as well as some of the other rewards that you possibly have for some of the other tiers that we're doing. Thank you for your donations. If you are a big fan of the channel and like to show it, consider going to our Etsy shop. I will leave a link to that in the description below. You can get everything from a nice little logo t-shirt to something like a nice gimmicky pun shirt that involves board games, if you like puns. So feel free to check it out. We will try to put in other stuff other than shirts and everything like that, but currently we are going to just do clothing, and we'll try to branch out as well. Be on the lookout for our upcoming gameplay video on Power Plants, but until then, thanks for the views.